Hello, everybody. I'm David Bosca, and this is a dual podcast. I have a guest for mine, and she has a guest for hers. I'd like to welcome, this is the Butcher Barbecue Podcast on my end, and I'd like to introduce Christie Vanover. Hi, Christie.
Hi, guys. And for those of you tuning into the BBQ Tips podcast, this is a great opportunity to talk with world champ David. So I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I've been following on Facebook, and I love your tips and tricks on people building boxes, trying to help out teams. And that's what we all need to do.
Absolutely.
I love this segment of the world we're in, but I feel competition barbecue's kind of taken a back road a little bit. It's gone off course, and I think if we could just all help educate, it might be if it just brings one more person in, that's all it needs.
Absolutely. It's so intimidating. There's that big price barrier buying Wagyu briskets and, expensive entry fees. And if you throw all your meat together in a box and you hope that it's going to turn out and then it doesn't, it's just scary to get in there. So yeah, I do my best. And I know there's others out there who do as well to just provide information and make it a little bit easier, because as soon as that new team gets one call, then they're hooked. They're in. I know that's how I was anyway.
Oh, absolutely. And today we're going to talk basically all about one of the major contests for barbecue competitions, and that's going to be the Jack Daniel's Invitational.
Yes, I love that competition.
Yeah, you've done videos in the past, helping out teams, and I've been getting a few phone calls and questions for first-time teamers. Had one come by my warehouse right here last Friday and was asking questions. So I kind of took notes from what he was asking and what I normally get. And what I want to do is we're live on our Facebook page. So if anyone has any live questions for us, go right ahead, or post them down. I will read them. We will answer them. We'll go from there. But first of all, let's start with a simple deal. Christie, I'm in Wellston, Oklahoma for right now. Where are you at?
I am in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not exactly a barbecue capital of the world, but we do our best.
All right. Well, let me click here. All right. I'm ready for any questions or comments people come in. We'll bring them up and we'll see what everyone has to say. But let's start out with getting to the Jack. Explain what you know and your concept of how people even get qualified. Let's start from like the first and go from there.
Yeah, it is such a confusing process, which is partially what makes it so prestigious. But you basically have to win a state championship in any sanctioning body. So if that competition is a state championship, if it's a first year contest, has to have 15 teams or more. If it's a second year contest or more, it has to have 25 teams or more. It also has to have a state proclamation from the governor saying that it's a state contest. There are several states that have proclamations that last a lifetime for every barbecue contest, but Nevada doesn't happen to be one of those. So when we have a contest, we have to email the governor's office and ask for those proclamations. One other thing is if a contest has more than 50 teams, you actually don't need the proclamation. So that's the first step. Then as the cook, if you win the grand championship of any state sanctioned contest, then you get a bung, basically like a whiskey barrel has a bung in the side of it. So it's a little, I should have had one for the camera. It's sitting over there. Oh, you'll grab one. Great. You'll get a bung for that state. Perfect. That you won in, and they put that in a bag. So for all of the competitions in California, all the ones in Texas, whatever your state may be. So if you're in Texas, there's like hundreds of them. So it's a really, really hard chance. Now, if you get 7 bungs in 1 year, you get an automatic. If you won the Jack last year or Memphis in May, or there you go, that's nice. Or the American Royal, you get automatics for those as well. But then they go and they draw. So let's say they don't do it alphabetically. There's like some other draw to decide the states. Then they draw from the bag. So let's say you have a bung in California and in Utah. If you were the only contest in Utah, you're an automatic. So you automatically get in, and they don't even do your bung in California anymore. But if you did, let's say California and Texas, then they'll draw you from one, you hope, and get your bung drawn. And then everybody else in California, those bungs are gone unless they have a bung in another state in another bag. Now there's one other round where you can get in as well, which is done after all of that. And that's the hometown team, which is one of the ways that I actually got a draw for the Jack, is if you are the only state or the only team in your state to have won a grand championship, then you will get an automatic to the bid. So I was the only team at one point in the state of Nevada to get a bung or a grand championship. And so I was able to get in that way. And then one other twist, just to make it even more
Yeah, there's layers that you have to understand.
I know.
Absolutely.
One other twist that I learned about this year, I competed I think it was in Idaho, in Blackfoot, Idaho, back in June, and a Canadian team won, Smellique won. But because she's from Canada, she can't get a U.S. bung. So it actually went to the RGC, which is a Utah-based team, Sling and Meats. So that's the only time I've ever heard of an RGC getting a bung for the Jack. So they got their bung. Now, Smellique did get a bung, but it goes back to Canada. Same thing happens if you're a U.S. team and you compete, let's say, in Costa Rica, or you compete in Canada. If you win, you don't get the Costa Rica bung or the Canada bung. You get a bung for your home state. So clear as mud, but that's basically the bung process and the draw process in a nutshell.
And that is all done a couple months prior to the contest itself.
Yes, every August. So the cycle for the Jack runs from August 1st to July 31st. And so then they do the draw that first week in August. So they just did the draw, just about a month ago for the competition happening this October. And then the new cycle has started. So all of the teams who've been competing since August 1st who've won, they've already got their bung for the next year.
Yeah, that's right. There's one that was left out, and another auto is last year's winner.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've went through the process of how you even get to qualify, because I get asked that quite a bit. Mm-hmm. How can I even get into the Jack? What do I have to do? Well, folks, that's it. Like she said, simple as mud.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
All right. Then you will receive an email. We used to get letters in the mail, beautiful hard copied a certificate saying we've qualified. Then you'll get an email in the mail from either Debbie or Pam. I'm not sure which one has that under her umbrella to take care of, but we're talking about Debbie Christian and Pam Hess. And you can watch this drawing live. Well, I'm sorry, not live.
No.
They post the results on Facebook, their website. They get all over the social media because, man, everybody's wanting to know. But they do try to post it as quick as possible.
Yeah. And I actually, kind of insider, they actually send me the draw results first, and I create the graphic for them. Okay. And then I send that back to them to get posted on social media. And it's so hard because I know the results, and I'm just sitting over here just like waiting for them to release them, because it's such exciting news.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Jason Pendley.
Jason.
Hey, y'all. Hello, Jason. If you got any questions about the Jack draw, or questions of the contest, that's what we're here doing. Feel free to type in, ask. But we are going to try to go through this chronological. So we just went through the application and the drawing process. Now we're kind of in a dead time. Man, you got 2 months, month and a half to figure out how you're going to do it. The one question I kind of get in this time frame a lot is, over there in the Jack, don't they like it sweet? Should I cook sweeter than what I normally do? Excuse me.
Sure.
I got a drawer down here poking me in the side. And my response is always, cook what you know.
Yeah.
Don't change anything. Is that kind of the way you feel?
100%. Cook what got you there. You got there for a reason. Don't go trying new things, changing new things. I mean, you can experiment in the dessert category, the cook's choice, but when it comes to your 4 meats, cook what got you there.
That's right. That was one of the questions that the local team that stopped by and was asking me about. He said, well, I cooked in Tennessee earlier this year, and man, they hated this and they hated that. I thought about doing XYZ instead. And I looked at him and I said, now, wait a minute. Why? You got to understand their judges. It's not going to be the same judges you had in Nashville, Knoxville,
Right.
Memphis. Man, these are celebrity judges. They're coming in from all over. So just because you've cooked there in the past or in that state, man, don't just do what you can do and cook the best food possible.
Yeah. Yeah, the judges pool is definitely not just who they have in that local area or the local region. It is influencers, past world champions, barbecue hall of famers, local celebrities, as you mentioned, lots of master CBJs, people who have cooked over 100, or excuse me, judged over 100 comps, fellow competitors. Like, yeah, it's a diverse group of people who know their barbecue. Scoring ranges based on, how long they have been judging, because in some instances there are some judges who just get certified on that Friday. Somebody like a social media influencer who maybe they decided to give a seat to, that person may not be as experienced, and so you may see a 7. But I would say for the most part at the Jack, we're definitely throwing 9s and a couple 8s.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
So we're in this downtime. There's not a lot. Okay, you made it.
Mhm.
So what I always tell people to do, and I'm thinking the four meats, the four
Mhm.
main meats. If let's backstep just a second. There is just a slight deviation in the rules for the Jack on the four meats only for right now that a lot of people kind of get misconstrued on how to build a box.
Yep.
And that is you must turn in 7 portions in your box for the judges.
Yep.
That doesn't mean there's 7 judges at a table. That was one thing that I get asked quite a bit is like, how can I get 7 thighs in my box? How can I get, well, it's still just 6 judges eating your food that's
Yeah.
tasting it.
Yeah, and the reason for the 7 is it's Jack, old number 7.
That's right.
So that's the symbolism. And when it comes to the chicken, you are also required to put in white meat. So white meat and dark meat. And I will say there's 2 practices that people do. So most of the time people do wings for their white meat. Sometimes people do breasts. I've done both at the 2 times I competed. But you can do 6 and 6. So 6 thighs and 6 wings, or 6 breasts, or 6 legs and 6 wings, but you only have to do 7. So you could do 6 thighs and 1 wing.
Yep.
Now, I will say what happens in the judges' tent, and even the judges question it at times, is the first judge can choose to take both pieces, the one piece, the 1 wing and the thigh, or they can skip it and give it to the next person, and so on. One of the 6 judges will taste the white meat since it's in the box, but then the other 5 will not. So you technically, a judge is supposed to only judge what's in front of them and what they tasted. So they should not penalize you if you didn't give them a piece of white meat. In the back of their mind, will they? I don't know. I hope not. They shouldn't. But you always want to think about that, is that there is a risk that they might say, oh, this team didn't have the confidence to give us all white meat. The other frame of thought is do 6 and 6, give everybody an opportunity. But I will say, as the cook side of things, if my white meat is not perfect, I would take the route of just doing the 1 piece, because then you don't run the risk of dropping your overall chicken score, because only 1 judge is going to judge the meat that maybe didn't hit the quality you wanted, and then that low score is going to drop anyway. So then the other 5 judges will get your high score on your dark meat. But if your wings or your breasts turn out awesome, then I would go 6 and 6 and give everybody the best meat that you got.
I like your thought process there. I am a breast. I don't even eat wings on a regular basis, so I couldn't tell you a good one from a bad one. But we did try it. We've done
Mhm.
the drumettes. We've done the wing sections. We've done all that, and I just still always kind of went back to the breast.
Yeah.
And when we do it, we always do 6 slices of breast and 6 thighs. We're a
Yep.
thigh team.
Me too.
Um, so we've always done the 3 down one side, 6 slices straight up and down, and then 3 thighs down the other side. If I planned out ahead, I could have loaded some of my boxes and I could have shown you some pictures, but I didn't plan this out too far, did I?
It's all good. That was my first box. My first year was the same. My second year, I did um, 3 thighs down both sides with 6 wings in the middle, kind of crisscrossed. I
Yeah.
personally like my wings crispy, so I went that route. Judges did not like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so that dinged me my second year.
And this is what I always tell people. If you're not used to cooking any white meat,
Mhm.
chronological. We are still in that time frame prior to the getting to the jack.
Mhm.
So right now, every single contest you go to, I'm not saying go turn them in, but
Right.
every single contest, I tell people start cooking your white meat.
Yep.
If it's going to be wings or breast, whatever. It's not that to perfect your recipe. Yes, it is, but it is also to see how opening that smoker will affect your other categories.
Yeah.
Does it slow it down 15 minutes?
Mhm.
Will it speed it up 15 minutes because you're now fanning the fire more? And or I always tell them to do that because you may end up with a process that you like on the breast or white meat that is right on top of something else you need to be doing on finishing ribs or
Yeah.
getting your chicken in. So this is that time frame where you need to check it, double check it, and continue doing it all the way through to the jack.
Yeah, great advice. Because yeah, you gotta figure out your timeline and your grill space. Like, if a lot of
Yeah.
teams are cooking on drums like I am now, and there's just not a lot of space on there for all that chicken, like, when you're adding either breasts or wings. So, yeah, definitely practicing now is a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And take notes. That's the
Yes.
biggest thing I can always tell you. Take notes. Yeah.
Mhm.
What else can you think of for this time frame? I just kind of stayed in chicken, but ribs don't really change. Pork, briskets, that is what it is
Yeah.
going into the jack. If you work the brisket, if you like burn ends, we can get into that if we can get into the category side. But definitely make sure you turn in 7 slices if
Yeah.
you're not doing burn ends. If you're doing burn ends, you can do 6 slices and 6 or burn ends, which still equal more than 7. So
Mhm.
you're still just fine. Jason, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I would say from a judge's perspective, most of the time at the Jack, I see full boxes. It doesn't mean that they're full of or of burn ends and flat. I definitely have seen a mix, and there were a couple years where really people were just going to flat. I've started to see burn ends come back. It's kind of done this kind of a cycle, but if they just do flat slices, they are filling that box like edge to edge, rim to rim. Same with pork. I definitely see a lot of pulled bacon in there. Money muscle always a lot of pulled, but again, they're filling the box as much as possible. And then ribs, most of the time, I'm seeing 5 on 5. But again, still put your best meat in a box. I mean, a 3 on 3 rib box at the Jack will still score if it tastes good. They should not dock you an appearance, but it is going to be passed around with other boxes that are 5 on 5. So it may look a little bit less. They're not supposed to compare. I
Right.
know they're
It's
not.
a
I know they're
mental
not.
image still, isn't it?
Right, but just if you wanna be ahead, make it the best box that you've ever turned in, but make sure the meat is worth putting in there, always.
Absolutely. When it comes to the briskets, I have probably not turned in burn ends 3 times since
Yeah,
2006.
yeah,
I always do burn ends, period, end of story. That is just part of it. I love them, and I really think that that's an advantage, to do it. So if you're not, my opinion is get it figured out.
yeah. When I got my, 5th place brisket at the Jack, I had burn ends in my box.
Yep. I always turn in burn ends. That's
Me too.
fact. Yep. And I'm going to give you here's a nugget, great big nugget. Back on chicken, something that we do. Like I said, we do breast.
Mhm.
And I turn in. I butter bath my thighs. Probably 80, 90, 95% of everyone does, if not more. I butter bath my chicken breast also.
Mhm.
But what I do is since breast slash white meat is so picky about getting done and being done properly and being done at the right time, slicing it, getting it in a box, taking it to the turn in. Okay, I stage my breast with 2 cooks. And
Hmm.
what I do is I got my thighs are going, same process. I'll put in my chicken breast my time frame. I'm just going to use this, say at 11 o'clock for my chicken breast. And then 15 minutes later, I'll put a second round of chicken breast in. I've got two of them coasting, one right in front of another. So that when it comes time to pull them out,
Mhm.
I know if one did get overdone, I got another one coming in.
Nice. Smart.
I have always staged my chicken breast for a dual turn in, and you know, it helps. It
Yeah.
definitely helps. Temperature is going to change down there, moisture
Mhm.
changes.
Yeah.
So I always throw in, when I do white meat, a second batch, and I stage it 15 minutes.
Nice.
And
And
that's
I
what I
assume
tell
you're
people.
I assume you're going with bird booster or something like that on your breast too?
Absolutely. I do
Yeah.
inject them. That's
Yep.
absolutely right. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Cool.
All right. I'm thinking people have done contests between now and then, getting
Mhm.
ready for the Jack. When do you recommend, or when did you guys show up?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, if you've never been to Lynchburg before and experienced it, I recommend showing up on Wednesday. I know that sounds super early, but just the overwhelmingness of it all, you need to get that out of your system. You need to see Lynchburg, smell Lynchburg, like just experience Lynchburg a couple days early. If you're waiting until Friday to show up, there's just so much energy and adrenaline going on that it can kind of mess with you a little bit. So get there early, soak it all in, get your tour of the Jack Daniels distillery, get your reservations, eat at Miss Mary Bobo's, walk the town, get a good lay of the land, understand where the turn-in area is, just get settled so you get all of those nerves out. And then you're just game on Friday. That's definitely what I recommend. I mean, Thursday showing up is fine also. But keep in mind, the past 2 years have been pretty decent, but usually it rains at the Jack, which makes
Yeah.
load in crazy because it gets muddy and that can add an hour, 2 hours to your load in time. So you definitely don't want to be pushing it. And then there's so many different activities that you can participate on Friday. There's different contests like the I Know Jack or the cocktail contest. There's the parade, which you're going to want to participate in. You're going to want to go to the hardware store to get your barrel head and all that stuff. And then most likely, at least your first year, you're going to want to go to Barbecue Hill, which is Friday night. So again, if you just show up late Thursday and then try to do all that on Friday, it's just so much. So I always show up on Wednesday. There's also a champions dinner that happens on Wednesday where one of the former champions, I know Brad's done it, Tuffy's cooked it, Chris Schaefer's cooked it. They cook a nice dinner at Miss Mary Bobo's. You get a cocktail hour with the master distiller, and then you get to go over to Miss Mary Bobo's and have a mix of the Miss Mary Bobo like country cuisine mixed with some world champion barbecue, and that's a really cool event.
Yeah, and I forgot about the champions dinner. That's a
Yeah.
great one to
Mhm.
throw out there. We're just like you. We're about a 12-hour drive from where we are
Mhm.
here in Oklahoma. We normally pull out anywhere from 5, 6, 7 in the morning. We pull into Manchester, Tennessee, usually anywhere from 7 to 8 o'clock that night, and we stay right there Wednesday night. We get a hotel right
Yep.
there off the interstate, and it seems like we're an hour from the site from right
Mhm.
there, maybe an hour and 20 minutes. And
Yeah.
then what we do is Thursday morning, we get up 7, 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
We hightail it. We go through Tullahoma, right
Yep.
on into Lynchburg, and we get our setup. So we're literally done by 10:30, and
Yeah.
we do exactly what you do. We go eat. We love eating on that little burger joint up on the corner up there on the
Yep.
square.
Yep.
We go through the store. We walk all of the downtown square.
Mhm.
We go over to the distillery, and we every year we always take the tour. It seems like when you take a tour of the distillery with someone new or that you haven't had with the tour, it's always different information as far
Yep.
as they hit on it different.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's part of it all. It's such a cool experience, and I honestly recommend if you didn't get a draw this year, and if you've never been to the Jack, but your goal is to get to the Jack, maybe go to the Jack. Like, just get in the car, head to the Jack, because to experience it all now before you're actually a competition cook, again, you'll get the lay of the land. I recommend the same thing for the Royal. Like, go see it all, experience it all, so it's not so new to you the day that you're showing up to actually do the competition. So, if that works with your schedule and your budget, I would say definitely head on out. There's lots of activities for your family too. There's like I think there's mutton busting and like bung toss contests, dog shows, all sorts of stuff. So, it's a good weekend.
Absolutely, and that's a great bit of advice. We do that on our own and didn't
Mhm.
even think that way. When you show up, it's not the deer in the headlight look.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, we're there Wednesday, Thursday. We're getting set up.
Mhm.
We normally will, if we've got a grill or something. I normally just leave that in the back of my trailer. I don't even pull it out till Friday. It's
Yeah.
going to rain. Let's be
Yes.
real. It's going to rain.
Yep.
Get your electric set up, get your cords ran. If you get electric that stays on, good luck. Another little bit of advice: if you have to take your own generator, take one of them quiet ones and bank on it.
Yeah.
Don't bank on their electric. It's not an RV park that they're setting up in.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and get out and visit those international teams.
Yes, that is such a cool experience.
Yes, yes.
Mhm. They'll be cooking things, throughout the week leading up to it, and you'll get to taste different cuisines, and they're just as excited to meet you as you are to meet them because maybe they've seen you on social media, or maybe they have questions about how do Americans cook things certain ways, because they definitely, I think over the years they've changed to where they do more of the style that we do. But I know the first few years that I judged, the entries were definitely different. The boxes look different than what we're seeing. But now with social media and everybody sharing content, I think they've adapted to be more like an American style box. But the Cook's Choice that they do is so cool, because it's with the Cook's Choice category, you're supposed to do like home from the heartland, I think it's called. And so they'll do entries that signify their culture, and it's really cool. I mean, I've had goat, I've had all sorts of crazy stuff, but yeah, they'll sample some of that stuff. So it's definitely worth going to see them. And they're in their own kind of section in like this horseshoe area, like on a track or something, kind of
Yeah,
in the center.
the Tennessee high walkers. That doesn't sound right. High steppers or something. It's the
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee walking. That's what it. Tennessee
Yeah.
walkers.
Yeah.
I think it was our first year going. It might have been our second year, but I think pretty sure it was our first year going. We were on the backside of that track, right around the curve, and right on the inside is where they always tried to put the international. And
Yeah.
lo and behold, not very far from us was Danielle from BBQ, which
Yeah.
we had befriended and seen out on the tour for a long time. And I remember she brought over some of her dessert.
Mm.
And when she started bringing it over, I was like, man, it was a piece of this and a piece of that, a faction of the dessert done this way. And finally, at the end, she brought it all finished and completed. And it was the Death by Diva.
That's
And
good.
it is a chocolate dish. And she's now published it on her
Mm.
one of her cookbooks and stuff. But man, let me tell you, money, money.
Nice. Nice.
So, yeah, if you get a chance, go talk to those international teams and take something from your home state.
Yeah.
If your state's known for peanuts or known for
Mhm.
something, trade them because they're all time got stuff they
Yeah.
want to trade with you.
Yeah, that's great advice for sure. And bring your stickers, definitely. Lots of sticker swaps going on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, we're rolling in. It's Wednesday. It's Thursday. We're taking a tour, doing everything. The one of the biggest things to remember that Lynchburg is a dry town. The county it's in is a
Mhm.
dry town for drinking. So be aware that you better red solo cup it.
Yep.
Um, you'd hate to go that far and then end up with not only a traveling expense but a jail expense.
Yes. And their police force is out because they know.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, stay in your area when you're enjoying. There's not places in town where you're gonna Oh, actually, I
There's
was gonna
that
say there's not
biker.
places in town that you can buy, but there is now. There was a Mexican restaurant that we went to last year that actually had margaritas. It was like margaritas in a can, but, they did get some kind of ruling that those local restaurants now can do some low
Okay.
percentage alcohol, so that is new.
And there's a Harley bar. They call it a
Mhm,
bar.
mhm.
Social gathering spot right
Yep,
off of Main. But
yep,
anyway, all right.
yes.
Well, okay. We've discussed that. Okay, you're pulling into town and you're starting to see everything, man. And it's just a great feeling. The big banners are going across the roads. You're driving underneath them, and you're like, wow, I'm
I'm
here.
here. Yep.
I'm here. You turn and you go one block into
Mhm.
Main Street or into the square,
Yes.
make a little jog over, and you're entering the park.
Yep. And I will say one of the most intimidating things the first time is when you first roll in, there's a riverbank kind of, and then there's teams starting to set up along the riverbank. And those tend to be the former world champions or barbecue Hall of Famers. Like that's where you're going to see Tuffy and Brad and Darren and like all the big dogs. And it's intimidating. You're rolling in and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to compete against these people. And I personally like to park in the grass field. That's my preferred area. So there's a little bit more space over there. But yeah, it's gonna hit you and you're gonna be like, I'm doing this. But you know what? All you're doing is competing against 6 people on your table. So don't let that get in your mind. You got there just like they got there
Yep.
and you've got a shot. So take the time actually to go talk to them because they're all really, really nice. They're all, they have the barbecue league, some of them, and the other things. I mean, they're going to share stuff too. And they're super kind. So don't be intimidated. Go ask them to take a picture with them. And yeah, they're usually welcoming. Sometimes I know like Tuffy is usually serving food and doing different things when he goes. So yeah, shake it off. We're all just fun barbecue people.
That's right. We've been there 7 times, and we've parked around the walking track a couple
Mhm.
times, and then right by where they used to have the baseball field.
Yeah.
Been over on the other side of the baseball field a couple times. We've
Mhm.
been down there on that RV row you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I will admit, that RV row, in my opinion, was the most unfriendly.
Oh no.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but it's
Sure.
just not the same camaraderie as it is over there in the field you're talking about. I
Sure.
absolutely loved that.
Yeah.
And the one thing I missed that last year we went was they had done away with the backyard division. I
Oh yeah.
always loved going over there and walking around the backyard,
Mhm.
visiting and talking with those folks.
Yeah.
And it's a shame they've had to do away with it. Okay, they've got to do it. They had to for their own reasons, but
Sure.
yeah. But
Yeah.
okay.
There is also, a cook site decorating contest.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I totally forgot about that because 'cause I've actually never done that because 'cause I'm doing all the other categories. But yes, that is another area where you can compete or have someone who's part of your team set it up. And a lot of people do fall decorations with a Jack Daniel's twist, or they'll mix in their state or their country. And then judges will come around and judge it. I don't even remember what the criteria is for judging, but if you win, you get a barrel head. So leaving the Jack with a barrel head, other than the one you buy that has your logo on it. But getting a call at the Jack is pretty cool. So that's definitely an option for you.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of there. Friday is, in my opinion, this is where the tread hits the road right here.
Yep.
Friday is contest day. It is
Yeah.
no different than any other Friday at any other contest. The only addition will be the extra categories that you can start prepping for and
Mhm.
going up and eating on the hill.
Yes.
The
Except
parade.
for
Yeah.
except for the 2 they have the 2 competitions on Friday.
Yep.
They have the, I Know Jack, which is a grilling competition like a chop challenge. So when you do your registration, you will say whether you wanna do I Know Jack or the cocktail contest, and they choose 5 teams, I think, for I Know Jack and maybe 7 teams for cocktail, if I'm not mistaken. With the I Know Jack, it happens usually around Friday at 9. You're allowed to bring 1, like, spice or 1 ingredient, and then other than that, they give you a styrofoam box, they set the timer, you open it, and you have to cook. Usually, it is 1 protein that they provide you. It's almost always certified Angus beef, a certain cut, and then you'll get potatoes and bacon and some dessert things, and you have to do like 2 sides or a side and a dessert, and then you present it to a panel of judges orally. You have to present it and kind of sell your dish, and then they judge. And then at the awards, it's like a winner take all. You get a barrel head and I think like $2,500. I've competed in that once, didn't win, but competed in that one. Then the cocktail contest is also on Friday. I think that's like Friday at 10. They're about the same time. So you can't do both. Again, you say if you want to do it, and then they pick the teams. Then they don't tell you if you've made it until I want to say Thursday afternoon, like 4 o'clock or so. They'll tell you if you were selected to do either of those competitions. With the cocktail, same thing. You mix your drink in front of the panel. It's a 3 panel group of people, usually like a master distiller, ET, who's their Jack Daniel's mixologist. You present their cocktail, they taste the cocktail. You really, really need to have a good presenter who is selling the concept. My team actually won that the first year that they did the cocktail contest. I was there last year during the judging, and it really has to do with your showmanship and your story of the cocktail as well as the flavor and presentation. But those are 2 really fun things to to do. Again, the more opportunities you can get a call and you can get a barrelhead, like I say, go for it. You're at the Jack, and your chances of getting there again are so hard that just do everything that you can. And
Yeah.
then the parade. So yeah, you'll get registered with all the other stuff, get your sign in, go to the hardware store. And then the parade is usually early afternoon, like 5 or 6-ish. And then you will take buses up to BBQ Hill. BBQ Hill, they will have this huge spread of food. Usually it's fried chicken and other stuff from like Miss Mary Bobo's. You've got to watch the sunset from up there. It's just stunning. They'll have drinks up there. Of course, Jack Daniels. They have like a Jack Daniels slushies truck. Certified Angus Beef also does cooking demos. I did that last year. I served pastrami beef ribs up there. And yeah, it's a really good time. And then the bus will take you back down. I will say, word of caution is don't over party up there, because it's still competition night. And it's really tempting with all that Jack Daniels being poured to really have a good time as you're socializing. There's bands up there too. But I would say go up there, watch the sunset, get a good meal, and get back to focus.
I love all that. And also, if you're, well, you'll be a contestant, but if you've got some score sheets you are not happy about, they always have that iron pig burning
Yes.
in the fireplace you can take and symbolically throw them in the trash and get them burned.
Yes.
Get rid of them. Yep.
Yep. That's a good time. Yeah. You just you throw them down there, get them lit, and then usually head down the hill. And I always stay in an Airstream up on the hill when I'm judging and not competing. So definitely come by and say hi. I'll be up on BBQ Hill most of the night. So
Nice. I didn't know they had that offered. That's a nice little touch.
they do. My sister works for Jack, so that's how I kind of get in on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's working, and I'm judging, and I'm doing some social media stuff for them too. So yeah, I'm up there.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's Friday. You've went through the day. You went through the parade. You've ate, come back. If you normally start your prep at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, do it the same way.
Yes.
That's one of the biggest things. Nothing changes. Your turn-ins are still 12, 12:30, 1, 1:30. Yeah. So follow your process.
Yes, agree. And then keep in mind too, if you're doing sauce, you're doing dessert, prep all of that you can in advance, because if you're adding white meat to things, so that your normal chicken process may take a little bit longer. So do as much dessert prep as you can in advance. With desserts, you can bake them at home, like if you're doing cheesecakes, and bring them on, as long as they stay fresh and they're good. So yeah, think about all the stuff you want to do ahead of time. Same with your cook's choice. What I did for cook's choice is I did a reverse sous vide with my filet mignon, to where I actually seared them and then I sous vide them so that they were the exact temperature that I wanted. And I ended up getting 10th place 2023 when I did those.
Very good. Yeah.
But yeah, all of that happens first. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the timeline is I don't think chicken is 12, is it? I feel like it might be.
I'm thinking there's a 30-minute difference there.
I think so, because sauce is first and then cook's choice.
Yeah.
And then the 4 meats and then dessert.
It always carried over because of the backyard, but I don't know if they ever changed your timeline because of that.
Yeah.
Meet My Mistress competition team asked a question. Do you only have to turn in one piece of white meat? We did go over that just a little while ago. Go back and listen to the whole spiel. We both dropped some nice nuggets there, but to answer that question quickly, technically, yes, you only have to turn in one, but go listen to all the first of the show. It will definitely enlighten you on what's going on.
Yeah. I'm pulling up my schedule here. So sauce is 11:30, cook's choice is 12, chicken is 12:30. So yes, it's 30 minutes off. And then every 30 minutes leading up to dessert is at 2:30.
There you go.
Yeah. And then awards at 5.
You bet. He just said thanks. All right. Now, I've always done the sauce. That's the only extra category I do. It's not in our wheelhouse to do the extra, the cook's choice, the decoration. That's just not us. We're just Okie boys from trying to go and cook some meat. But we do always do the sauce, and we have done very well with the sauce. We've won a second, a third, I think a fifth and a seventh or something. We've always done very well. And I get asked about the sauce quite a bit. The sauce is the only category that I'm aware of. You can enlighten us on this because you've done the others,
Hmm.
but that's the only one that is required to have Jack Daniel's whiskey in the product.
That's correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing else has to, but that one definitely has to.
Yes.
And how you add it is completely up to you, whether you pour it in a bottle of Blues Hog and turn that in. I mean, I know people have done that. Whether you cook it down and make your sauce from scratch, it's totally optional however you wanna do it.
Absolutely. They will give you a styrofoam cup with the lid, your
Mhm.
number on it. It's no different than a contest that's in Tuscaloosa,
Yeah,
Alabama.
yeah,
If you enter a sauce contest there,
yeah.
um,
Now
and
I
I
will
get
Oh, go ahead.
right. No, you go right
No, I was
ahead.
gonna say, I will give advice from a judge's perspective. You are judged on appearance, taste, and tenderness. So, and people wonder, what does that mean with sauce? How can that be judged that way? So, from an appearance standpoint, they're looking at color and they're looking at like does it look grainy? Like you don't want your sauce to be grainy. So, if you're making it from scratch, you might want to strain it and make sure that it's nice and smooth. From a tenderness perspective, what they're looking at is the viscosity of it. So, they'll dunk the spoon. Where as a judge, we're each given a spoon. They'll dunk it in it, and how does it stick to the spoon? Does it like form and kind of coat the spoon? Does it slide off? Now, if it's a vinegar mop sauce, then of course it's going to slide off and that's perfectly fine. But just kind of how does it coat? And then when you taste it, how does that texture feel in your mouth? Is it velvety, or again, is it gritty? Is it too chunky? Different things like that. And then taste, of course, they're just looking at the balance of, sweet, savory, acidic, and things along those lines.
Yep, great ones. Good insight from the judging side of the table. Um,
And heat it. Definitely heat it, but don't overheat it, because when you heat it and it gets too warm, it will thin out and then it's going to affect your texture. But if it's cold, the judges aren't going to want that either. So definitely find a good balance in there would be my advice. But because you probably, how did you serve yours warm or?
Room temperature.
Okay.
I never
Okay.
heated it.
Interesting. Okay. But definitely not cold.
No, definitely not cold.
Okay. Great.
It just was room temperature.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Because
looking at
I
my
was
storage here.
worried about what exactly you was talking about.
Right.
Will it thicken up and it will thicken up
Yeah.
as it cools. So we did just room temperature. That's how we
Nice.
always did it. Yep.
Nice. Let's see. My last comp, I got 11th on sauce at the Jack. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Sauce. What are the other extra categories that you could help enlighten some of the cooks on? Because, like I said, I've not done them, but we'll
Yep.
definitely like to include stuff here on this
Yeah.
talk.
So Cook's Choice will be your next turn in, and Cook's Choice, this is where it's separate for international teams and U.S. teams. They both get judged on sent in at the same time, and the judges get them at the same time. But they are technically kind of broken up in the scoring because it's the home from the heartland, or again whatever it's called for international teams, and then the U.S. version of it. From here, I would say nail it. I know that seems fortuitous, but we've
Obvious,
had
but yeah.
but we've had some beautiful presentations of steaks, whether it be filet mignon or spinalis or tomahawks, but they just weren't cooked well. Like they get a 9 because they look stunning, but then they're chewy or they're over. So if you're going to do steak, really nail that cook. I recommend a medium rare. If you're going to do seafood, which a lot of people do seafood, be careful and nail that cook when it comes to shrimp, especially, or scallops or lobster. You don't want it to be chewy. You don't want it to be undercooked either, but I would go more towards the under than the over because it's going to sit for a little while before it gets to the judges. And then just really make your flavors pop like everything else, because it's pretty much one bite. But the judges are hungry at this moment. This is the first, they just had sauce. They're really excited. They probably didn't have breakfast because they're about to eat 6 categories, and they're really excited, and they see these big presentations come in. And presentations for Cook's Choice are wild. I mean, there's so many like full tomahawks, big beefy bones. I've had a whole beef shank before. I've seen beef ribs before. It's just really impressive stuff. So think about, most of the times people will do a protein with some sort of a side. I've seen shrimp and grits. I've seen like mashed potatoes, scallop potatoes, along with the protein. For me, the year that I got 10th, I did slices of filet mignon with grilled asparagus and bacon wrapped shrimp with a kind of a sauce on it. But I did petite plates. So you do still need to do 7 portions. You will bring it on a serving platter. They'll give you a number to put on your serving platter. Check the rules, because the rules do change from year to year as far as whether or not there are dimension limitations, One year, I believe they limited it to either 18 by 18 or 20 by 20 platter. I think they removed that last year, but it might be back. So double check that to make sure you don't exceed the whatever the rules say. It definitely has to be carried by one person because the table captain will pick it up and bring it to the table. And one year there was like a triple layer hanging tomahawk that was like a 4-foot thing, and the table captain couldn't carry it. It was like a 60-year-old lady who was trying her best to carry it. And so read the rules to make sure you don't get DQ'd on that. But make it a beautiful presentation. Don't forget 7 pieces. And if you're going to add alcohol as far as shots, which a lot of people do, they'll add like mini bottles of Jack or something. My recommendation is don't make the shot, because if you have shot glasses of whiskey and somebody's carrying it and that whiskey spills onto your filet mignon, there goes everything. So I recommend having like a little shot glass and the mini bottles if you want to go that route. But that's just my personal recommendation, just because you want to prevent any accidental tarnish of your dish. So.
Oh, that's great inside views there. Absolutely. All right. So what else on those extras? Like I said, I've only done the sauce. So can you think of anything else for new cooks, first time cooks? The only thing I could think of from an outside looking in on that is, if you're busy trying to do your 4 meats and you're the main cook on your team for the 4 meats, you can't take all 10 categories and be the main cook. You need to have Kurt Wallace. I hear hot dogs win.
Last year.
Right, Kurt.
Right. Well, I will say the contrary, Dave. So I am the only cook for my team. So I cook every single category. I'm a bit of a narcissist.
You take it all on then.
I do. Yeah. I don't know that that's the smartest move, and maybe that's why I don't win. But it's possible. But yes, if you have teammates who you can divvy things up to, then by all means go for that.
That's cool. Good. That's how I'd have to roll. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. All right. Now we're on to the 4 mains at this point. I call it 4 mains. What got you there?
Yep.
All right. Chicken. We talked about chicken before, the breaking it down, the types of meat that have to be turned in. Now, I can't see where we could add anything to it at this time frame. It is still the same turn-in window as you are accustomed to at any other KCBS contest. This is a KCBS ran contest. It's not truly sanctioned or goes in that, but it is ran by them. And the reason it's not truly in their team of the year type points is because they do change a few rules. So expect any of that. And if you've got questions about the particulars, go ask the reps. When they're coming by inspecting your meat, go up and ask them Friday. I plan on doing this. Is it legal here? And they'll tell you, can you do that at your home contest? 9 chances out of 10. If you can't there, you can at the Jack either.
Yeah. And keep in mind the turn-in window is your 10 minutes, so 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, but the walk to turn-ins can be a little ways for you, and you're also walking through crowds of people. So I've seen people like have triangles, like somebody walking with a triangle to kind of clear the path, or a cowbell to kind of get people, out of the way. But once you get to the judge's tent, there are some tables set up. You'll kind of walk through some hay bales. I recommend pausing at that table, taking a look at your box, making sure it's exactly how you want it, then closing it back up and then turning it in. Because you have walked a ways, you might jostle it a little bit. And if you have enough time, just take that one last minute, make sure, especially when it comes to chef's choice or cook's choice, let me just go back to that real quick. I will actually assemble some of that on site because it's a platter and a big presentation. I will actually take components separately. I'll have someone carry my shot glasses and drinks. I'll have other components done on the platter. And then once I get to that table, I'll kind of fine tune and finesse everything and then turn it in. Same thing with dessert. So count the time for that window, count the time for the walk, and then just maybe give yourself an extra 30 seconds to do that one final check, polish, make sure your greens are tucked in right before you turn in your box.
Very good advice. Very good. Yep. We did same thing. We always sent what we called a blocker. We always sent a blocker with our turn in for that very reason. Once my older brother, who always cooked with me, he said, I think one time he said he had someone actually try to, hey, can I see what you got, and reach to try, and he probably snarled at them and bit their head off,
A real blocker.
so expect unique and different things, because let's be real, the public's there to see barbecue.
Yes. And that's one thing that's really cool about judging is it's open judging. So it's not like any other contest where they're in this private tent. There are actually rows of bleachers looking into the tent, and the public is watching as the judges take a bite. They're watching as these amazing Cook's Choice entries come in. And then they had to pause it during COVID, but since COVID is over, they will take all the leftovers. Since there's 7 pieces and only 6 judges eat it, there's always at least 1 piece left in the box. They'll take all that to a table, and then they will put it all in separate boxes or on plates, and they'll actually give it to the public. So the public gets to experience the competition barbecue, and they really, really get excited about that. So yeah, you will see a lot of spectators. And if you've got someone in your family, they're welcome to watch the whole judging. They're not going to know what box is yours. Cook's Choice and dessert, they'll know. But other than that, it's all double blind. But yeah, it's really cool if you want to see judges and the responses, like the facial expressions of the judges.
Oh, I can see someone sitting up in those stadiums with a pair of binoculars. Okay, here comes my brother. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch that box all the way through.
You're right. They could.
Now, why aren't you back at the site paying attention to what's going on?
Yeah.
All right. Going on to ribs. Folks, it's just still another 30 minutes, man.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the one back at your site, stay in your process, keep going, do what you normally do, make it happen. And I will hazard to bet that most cooks are smart enough to know that, but let's throw it out there. Let's keep saying it. Do what you normally do.
Yes. 100%. Yep. Don't sway from it. Don't get in your own head. That's the worst thing that you can do to yourself is say, oh, well, this team's here. They're so good. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to switch things up because I think that maybe that's how they would do it. No, you earned it. You are good. You are a state champion. You earned your spot at the Jack. Cook what you know and shock the heck out of people when you get your name called. Do it.
Yep. Rib turn in. Minimum 7.
Yeah.
This is the one category that an extra something, it has to be visible, because briskets, if you do the burn ends, if you got 6 and 6, that's more. Pork, if you got bacon pull and 6 slices, well, you're going to have 7. Ribs, you better have 7 bones. That's the rule. 7 separable bones.
Yeah.
Go just like that.
And before the Jack, play around with your boxing. Like at home, go to Sam's Club, get yourself a box and play around. Do you want to do 4 on 3? Do you want to do, all lay 7 flat in the box, arranging it that way? Do you want to do 4 on 4, 5 on 5, like we talked about earlier? But figure out how you're going to box before you get to the Jack. Because the last thing you want to, you don't have a lot of time. It's that 30-minute window plus the walk. You don't have a lot of time to go, oh, what am I going to do here? So yeah, think about your strategy, assuming you have 7, you have to have at least 7 good bones. So at least plan for a 7 bone box. And then of course you can plan for a 4 on 4 or 5 on 5.
The only thing I'd say here is if in a normal contest, you cook 3 ribs, cook 3 ribs. And it's not that if you add a 4th or 5th, I want to be guaranteed I got great ribs. In that 30-minute time zone, you may not have time to go through those extra ribs to figure it out. Now you're behind the 8 ball. And back to the beginning, it's going to change your cooker. It's going to change the way it cooks, smoking, open it up. It's going to fire off extra. It's going to be, everything changes. So if you cook 3 ribs on a regular weekend, cook 3 there. Just perfect what you got going. That's why you're there. That's what it's for.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yep.
All right. Pork, another 30 minutes have went by. You're either kicking gravel or you're going, okay, I haven't hurt myself yet.
Yep.
All right. You're on the pork. Judging on your side, what kind of pork boxes would you say you've seen?
I would say the majority of them are money, and bacon, like strands of bacon. There are several, it's gotten more where I'm seeing just money. Like full of money, like, 3 rows of 5, like, again, like we talked about before, really filling up the box. I'm not seeing just like 7 in a diagonal. They are full boxes, but most of the time I would say there's pulled bacon in it. Sometimes there's chunks as well. And you don't have to do 7, 7, 7. You don't have to do 7 monies, 7 chunks, and then enough of 7 pulled. You technically just could do, honestly, you could do 3 monies and some pulled and 3 chunks, and that's enough. But I wouldn't do that. I don't recommend
I agree. I agree with you.
that at all. Um, I tend to always put 7 monies and then pulled or chunks. Honestly, if I were cooking it this year, lately I've just been doing money, so I would most likely just fill the box with money slices. I don't know that I would do pulled. And I think pulled scores fine. I think judges love pulled. But that's just kind of the trend that I've personally been doing this year.
I've still been doing 2 pork butts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried just money a couple times and no, it never ran good for me. So very quickly, I think I did that at 2 contests. All right. I just went back to 2 pork butts.
Okay, there you
Just
go.
did what yeah. And it's just do what you're used to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I ran 6 monies only. I just cut them off and did 6 monies this weekend and got 6th place. So
See,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah, yeah.
It's still about the quality of the food, isn't it?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Pork. And I can't think of anything special outside of that.
Nope.
Turn in what you're used to turning in, flavor what you're used to flavor. If you sauce at home, sauce there,
Yep.
and vice versa. All right. Now on to the brisket. The category that everyone dreads and loves all at the same time.
Yes.
So
I will say, having judged brisket for several years prior to cooking brisket gave me an advantage, because the results that I hear from judges at my table year after year after year is it doesn't taste like brisket. It tastes like roast beef. So
Yep.
many teams, including myself, are cooking hot and fast, throwing it in a pan of, some kind of mop, covering it up and braising it. So it doesn't have that authentic Texas smoke, the Texas bark. And after brisket, for like the first 3 years that I judged before I cooked it, the judges were like, "Oh, those were good. They were tender. They were beefy, but they just, I wish I had one that really tasted smoky or had a nice bark on it." So the first year that I cooked the jack, I said, "Okay, I know what the judges are looking for." And I still did hot and fast. I still did the braise. At the last part of my cook, took the foil off, threw a bunch of wood chips or pellets or wood chunks. I don't remember what I did, but added wood in there to get that smoke, rebuilt my bark, and ended up 5th place. So the judges want to taste that you smoked the brisket. They don't want to taste that you boiled your brisket or braised your brisket. So, but again, don't go changing things now necessarily, because again, what got you there got you there. But definitely getting a good brisket call, as we know with every competition, is going to help you with that overall. So
yeah.
you don't want to tank in brisket. And keep in mind the moisture in Tennessee. It is more humid, and it's probably going to rain. So
Yeah, probably going to rain.
that will
And
influence your cook.
will change your timelines just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got different types of timelines for dry temperatures, cooking in Las Vegas desert area, and maybe in the spring when it is more moist, and all of a sudden you noticed in the summer, man, things are getting done a little quicker. Well, it's because it's drying out a little more. There's less moisture. So revert back to your older style cook and keep that in mind, because if you cut into yours, this is what I always say. If you cut into your brisket and you go, "Oh my God, this thing is the moistest I've had in 6 months," I promise you 90% of everybody's is the same way, because you're all in that same condition.
Yep. 100%.
So treat it just like you always do.
Yeah.
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 All right. Burn ins, not burn ins. We've kicked that can down the road several times. Do what you do. If you do toothpicks, do toothpicks, not true little wooden toothpicks, but straws, I think is another name of it. However you turn in your brisket, turn it in. Now, that is the last category. And is there any of the extra categories goes on afterwards?
Yes, dessert.
Yeah.
And that is, the judges love dessert, even though they just ate so much meat. It's just so entertaining. All the judges get up and they take pictures because what people turn in is always so beautiful. And B, we're just ready for a sweet hit. And then there's usually a cocktail on the trays of a lot of desserts too. And we can't drink during, while we're judging, because we've got to be like really focused. And so when those little bottles of Jack come around, everybody gets excited for that too. But yeah, dessert, I will I've said this many times on separate podcasts. Cheesecake always freaking wins. And my first year, I refused to do cheesecake because I wanted to break barriers, and I did like a boozy milkshake. That was a mistake because it took way too much time because I had to make it immediately. I couldn't like pre-make it. I did cheesecake the second year, but quick tip here: with cheesecake, you want it to actually get to room temperature. So with my cheesecake, I baked them. They were in the refrigerator. I pulled them out right before turn-ins, and I, did all my finishing touches on them, turned it in. But cold cheesecake has a texture that is a little harder. And when it comes to cheesecake, you really want it to be a smoother consistency. So in tenderness, I've got my scores up here. I got 3 8s and 3 9s. And that was, I'm pretty sure exactly why, because it just didn't have that smooth
Velvety.
meltiness. Yes. Yes. So if you're doing cheesecake, which you probably are, make sure that it's like, at a room temperature or so it's soft. I do see a lot of fall influence. I see pumpkin things. I see apple spice things, a lot of Jack infusion. And now there's the new blackberry Jack that just came out. So I have a feeling we might see some blackberry desserts this year. But Jack has an apple. They have a honey. So people tend to kind of go that route. And then from a decoration standpoint, people go all out. Fresh flowers, fake flowers, again, fall themed things, lights, Jack Daniels things. There is a Jack Daniels hardware store on site. So people will go there sometimes and buy Jack napkins or little Jack trinkets to kind of decorate their platters with. Same rules as the cook's choice, double check to see if there's any limitation to the platter size. Like I said, sometimes it's been 18 by 18 or 20 by 20. So just make sure you stay within the rules so you don't get DQ'd. And keep in mind, the top 10 are probably all going to be 180s. Like it's just, that's how dessert rolls. These are some great, great cooks. And just cook your best, but know that even if you get a 180, you might not get first, but it's still fun.
I was going to say, I can't believe you stopped at 10th.
I know. It may have actually gone past
every one of them, possibly. Yeah.
Let's see. I have the results from
last year,
2023 up here. Let's
okay.
see. 180. Oh, actually 180 went to 7th place.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Dessert. You're done. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath of that fresh air, get you a quart jar, bottle it, because it's a year down the road before you get to come back.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's when people usually, you can stay overnight. You can enjoy. And I do recommend, like, it's been a long day. I do recommend just staying on site one more night, rolling out Sunday morning. But you can leave that night. But so if you want, you can start packing up. But awards are at 5. Be prepared. They last a long time.
I've got that down on my notes. Awards, late, slow, make plans.
Yes. Eat yourself some dinner, because if you're like me, when you're doing competitions, you get like a bite of chicken and spit it out, and that's like that's my meal throughout the day. So pause, get yourself something to eat. A lot of the stores in town, the restaurants in town, they may close a little bit early, like the little cafes and stuff. Some of the other stuff will be really crowded, but there's lots of vendors. Or of course, you got your barbecue, or walk around and taste other people's barbecue. I'm sure they're not going to eat it. So
yeah. Get in line with Kurt Wallace. His team, Smoked and Furious. He asked a question a while ago. If you're still listening, Kurt, I expect a comment after that. But go look up him. He will be happy to give you some leftover food.
Nice.
But seriously, the awards is what you came for. Have plans, make plans, get there a little early. Let's be real. The chairs are going to take it up. We always try to get there 30 minutes early. Sometimes we'd find a chair. Sometimes we wouldn't, but we would get our site cleaned up. We'd get it packed. We do what we always do, because we still try to always get a couple hours of driving in after awards. That's just what we always did.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always wanted to get back up on I-40 and get going east, just enough to get out of Nashville.
Yeah. Now I will live stream the awards at Girls Can Grill on my Facebook page. I have for the past, I think, 7 years. So for those who aren't, thanks. So for those who aren't attending, you can watch those. And I usually am right there in the front row. I had technical difficulties last year. I apologize. Hopefully that won't happen this year. But yeah, there's the whole inside fills up with people. And then a whole bunch of people are sitting outside, so that you may have to bring your own chairs. There's also bleachers. But part of the reason that the awards are so long is they do a lot of recognition up front, but there's a lot of categories, and there's so many teams, like, they have to walk, like, the teams who win, are in the back, they gotta walk quite a ways, but it's a great, great time. Chip does a great job as an MC. Yeah, it's exciting to hear new teams called is so fun, and, yeah, just to kinda calculate in your head who's gonna win.
Yeah,
Definitely.
there's generally anywhere from 75 to 95, maybe 100
Yeah,
teams, counting international, but
yeah,
generally there's that many teams. So, and
yeah.
they all bring 2, 4, 6, 8 people because it's the Jack.
Yep. And then afterwards, if you do get an award, down to 10th place, I think 5th through 10th, you get a ribbon, and then, or excuse me, 6th through 10th, you get a ribbon, and then 5th and above, you get a ribbon and a barrel head. And after you walk up on stage, you'll go to the left, and then they'll take a picture of you out by the big
Yep.
Jack Daniel signs and stuff. But if you don't get an award, go ahead and get yourself a picture over there before you leave. Definitely take all the pictures you can, because sometimes you kind of forget, you're in the moment, you're focused on competing, but you definitely want to capture this memory. So yeah, get all those pictures. And they do have a professional photo crew in a few different places, like on Barbecue Hill and in the distillery and different places like that too.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, you go through awards. Like I said, you're kicking gravel, or you just don't understand how your best food in the world didn't place. But it's still a contest.
Yeah.
Mm,
And you won't get comment cards, so don't
yeah,
expect them. They do not. The judges do not. There's so many teams, and the norm short windows that they don't have us do comment cards at all. So if you got a 7 and you don't know why, I'm sorry. The best you could do from an appearance standpoint is post your picture on social media and maybe ask some people, like, what do you think? Why did I get a 7? Like I've been doing lately, kind of sharing some boxes, but yeah, just keep in mind that it's a hard it's a hard field of people you're cooking with, and your food's got to be really, really good. And it probably is, because that's what got you to the Jack.
that's right. Yep. All right. I've went through awards. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything particular. Um,
Have fun.
get ready for the next year, because you could go
Yes.
back.
Yes. And like we said at the very beginning with the process, it's hard. I know teams who have won GCs multiple times, year after year after year, and still haven't got a call. And then they finally get that call, and so it's a hard process. Like I said, I've gone twice, fortunately, but not this year. And it just, yeah, it's just keep trying, keep at it, because it is in my opinion, it's just the best competition from so many angles, like the hospitality, just the whole vibe of being down in the holler. It's the Royal has its advantages, and it's got its cool atmosphere, but this one is just so special and unique. So
It
yeah.
really is. We're very fortunate to have both my son-in-laws got to travel. We had a family that I'm very near and dear with here just down the road from us. Him and his wife got to come. In the past years, my son and his family got to come. At one point, my mom and dad got to come. My wife got to go. It's always every year we seem like we travel with someone different.
That's
And
cool.
it is a blast. It's something that I wouldn't trade for the world.
Mhm.
With that,
Yeah.
that's all I got on the Jack, man. It's great and it's fun. I think Martin and I was talking about this the other day. We've been 7 times to the
Nice.
Jack. Very fortunate. We've got some really good friends here that's been cooking since the 90s, and he got to go for another team,
Mhm.
but his personal team, he's never been drawn all
Wow.
these years. And here
Wow.
yeah, and you get other teams that seem like they go every other year. It's like, I don't
I
get it.
know.
That shows the complexity of
Yes.
how hard it is to go.
Yeah. And if, for those of you who just tuned in, who didn't hear the whole process, go back to the beginning of this, because we went through the whole clear as mud
Yeah,
scenario.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I think this year will be my 8th year going,
That,
judging 5 or
yeah,
6 times and then cooking twice. So yeah, I can't wait.
cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Christy, when I don't see any more questions or comments that's come up, what, well, how many other visuals, podcasts, videos do you plan on doing, and where can people follow you for Jack updates.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So go to barbecuetips.com or bbqtips.com and you will see last year I did a whole series on the Jack. I did an episode on each meat, on each ancillary. And then also there's a video podcast version of it. So I have pictures of past Cook's Choice entries. I have pictures of past dessert entries, not just mine, but ones that I've judged. So if you want to see examples of what people have turned in, again, go to bbqtips.com or you can go to my YouTube channel at Girls Can Grill. I have a playlist that's called the Jack, and you can see everything from the I Know Jack contest, cocktail contest stuff. There's all sorts of stuff in there if you want visuals of what's going on, and then just some of the advice similar to what we've talked about today.
Oh, I think that's awesome. Any little bit, you might pick up one little trick or tip that might just change your contest. And I hope that people have listened to this, and if they get something out of the chicken or the ribs or setting up their site, whatever it is, don't go and get scared, but go and be prepared.
Yep. Great advice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for having me. This has been great. And where can people find you for those who are listening on my podcast?
Absolutely. Thank you. Butcher Barbecue, BBQ, Butcher BBQ. We've got our own website, butcherbarbecue.com, Facebook, Butcher Barbecue. We're on Instagram, TikTok. I'll be honest with you, I don't facilitate those that much, but we're there. Things happen there. We got our own YouTube. This video will actually be shown over there also. We've got our own podcast. We're 60, 70 podcasts in. I took a hiatus on that, and a couple months ago, I got kicked off again, started doing these again. That's when I contacted you. I was like, hey, I got an idea. But that's where y'all can follow me, is with the Butcher Barbecue stuff. And how about you?
Great. And let me add that Butcher Barbecue also has great rubs, brines, injections, all that stuff, which I've used before. Great stuff. He's a world champion, won the Jack. He's so humble over there. But yeah, with me, girlscangrill.com and Girls Can Grill on all the socials.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. We appreciate it. If you have any more questions, ask them down here in the comments. We'll both kind of monitor on our own sites, and we'll be happy to answer anything you got. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye.